Yo, 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 what's up, what's up? It's your boy Philly Dark One for more Hip Hop News TV. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about none other than y'all favorite, none other than 50 Cent. Now, we all know that 50 Cent is a major troller in the game, and he's trolling more now than ever before. This dude is like it's on an epic run. I mean, this dude is really like on fire with this like, I don't know what his plan is, but what I do know is that like this dude is really like he's on one right now, and you can't deny it that it's not infectious. Like it's like a train wreck. I told my boy it's like a train wreck. Everybody want to stop and see the train wreck, car crash. They want to see if there's any fatalities. You know, God bless that there's none, but people want to stop and see it nonetheless. Now, what I want to do on this episode, I just want to talk about from the beginning to now, where we at now with Papoose and Clarissa Shields. And in the beginning, I mean, we can even go back to like street beefs, like with McGriff, Supreme McGriff. When 50 Cent first came out, he got shot 9 times, and it was a big story. Like for a rapper to get shot 9 times and survive it, that gave him instant credibility in hip hop. Like nobody could say nothing to him because there was no rapper alive that got shot 9 times and survived to make a story about it or to make music about it, and 50 Cent did it. So he was like the definition of a super thug. Like he was the definition of a super thug. And basically it was all over street politics. Like that whole thing with Supreme McGriff was straight about the street life, drugs and whatever have you, you know, and it was just 50 Cent way of turning, you know, his pain into it became his blueprint, you know, and he stood on that. He stood on that and he embraced it, you know, wearing the bulletproof vests on stage, and you know, it was well documented. Like everybody knew about it. He wasn't hiding it. It was out there for the world to see, you know. And let us not forget. I'd be remiss not to talk about none other than Ja Rule. Now, when 50 Cent came in the game, he had a nemesis. Like if you look back at 50 Cent descent, he was going after everybody, all the top dogs, Jay-Z, whoever got in his crosshairs, he didn't care who it was. He was coming for you, and he was gunning for you. He didn't care. He wanted that top spot, and that's what I respected about 50. I mean, and people, you know, now today they want to chatter and say, oh, well, you know, he was coming in creating issues. No, 50 was coming in gunning for that top spot, whether you like it or not. How he went about it the way he wanted to go, and he wasn't hiding it. He wasn't hiding it from nobody that he wanted that top spot. And people was pissed because the way he just, you know, can't think about it with the song, How to Rob. That was him just that braggadocious, but it was on a different level. How to rob you. It wasn't just that I'm going to take the top spot. I'm going to rob you of the top spot. And that's the way 50 came in. And 50, like I said, Ja Rule, one of the most famous beefs ever. He came in at Ja Rule's style and then took over his style and then pushed Ja Rule out of the picture and took over his spot. Ja Rule was the hottest thing out there, for better, for worse. I don't care what anybody say. Y'all can say what y'all want now, but y'all know y'all was listening to Ja Rule music. Y'all was the biggest Ja Rule fans. Y'all was playing all his songs. He was that boy. You know, was it hardcore hip hop? No, it wasn't hardcore hip hop, but it was music nonetheless. And that was his thing. I lost my light back here. This light is crazy because I done paid all this money for this light, and this thing don't last nothing. It got to be plugged up. It's crazy. The battery life is trash. But like I was saying about Ja Rule, is that this boy, he pushed this boy out of the picture, came in, took over his style, and pushed him clearly out of the picture. And Ja Rule couldn't do a damn thing about it. Couldn't do nothing about it because 50 Cent came in as that super thug, and everybody, I mean, I'm talking about all across music, all across the world was singing 50 Cent songs. I'm talking about Wankster. I'm talking about Up in the Club. Like, he had so many bangers and he just kept coming. Pause. He just kept coming with them one after another. And it was like a barrage. It was like he created this thing. He created this thing. And, you know, it was just amazing to see. And along with Ja Rule, let's not forget about Irv Gotti. You know, he came at Irv Gotti crazy over business beef, and you know, it went lyrical. Then all these accusations of federal investigations and sabotaging, and 50 mastered the art of weaponizing public perception. That's what 50 did, and he was a master of it. He grabbed the game by the neck and had it in a chokehold. Took over it and infused it with his crew, the G Unit. And they just took over hip hop for a period of time that nobody could understand how powerful this was. You know, the movement that it was taking over. You know, they could not be ignored. They could not be ignored what they was doing and how they was going about it. They were systematically taking over the game. Everybody, and that was so infectious that G-Unit, everybody was saying it. Everybody was saying it, from little kids to old people, from rap stars to pop stars like Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson was even bumping in the club, to Michael Jackson. Like, all artists across the world was loving 50 Cent. Get Rich or Die Trying was the hottest album out there. It just totally took over the game, and it could not be stopped, you know. And the thing about it was, you know, he even had beefs with inside artists of the G Unit. You know, number one out the box was The Game. You know, he started mentoring The Game. That was his protege, and it just fell apart publicly, where Minister Farrakhan wanted to step in and try to, you know, connect these boys back together, because it got to a point where we thought it was going to get violent, because we had two individuals. It was kind of like on a Biggie and Tupac thing, where they was cool and now they was out, but yet you had Game from West Coast and you had 50 Cent from the East Coast, and nobody wanted to see that happen again, because these brothers was too talented to watch this happen again, you know, and who needed to see that? But you cannot forget that gang beef. And let's talk about the Young Buck beef. He had beef with Young Buck that's well documented, where 50 Cent was questioning his loyalty, you know, and his personal life got exposed by 50 Cent. And, you know, 50 Cent crossed lines, you know, internationally, you know, to diss this man. You know, he was showing different angles of how he was exposing Young Buck. But this was his artist, but he didn't care. 50 Cent, one thing about this man, when you're in his crosshairs, he don't care nothing about you. He don't care who had you, who thought of you, who created you. He's gonna attack you from all angles, and he didn't care. But let us move on, you know. Let us not forget about Fat Joe. Now, that was New York versus New York. That created tensions in New York because both artists was from New York. And 50 Cent accused, you know, Joe of switching sides. You know, the beef split fans down borough lines because, like I said, they was from the same area, New York, you know, and it was just a crazy time in New York for, you know, fans, because you had people that loved Joey Crack and you had people that adored 50 Cent. He was a new hot artist, you know, and you didn't know which direction to go because you wanted to support both artists. But then let's not forget, a lot of people didn't know about this short-lived beef between Nas, you know, where him and 50 Cent egos crashed, and 50 Cent, you know, backed off, you know, this quickly. For some reason or another, he didn't drag it too deep. He just got in and got out, where a lot of people didn't even peep the game that Nas and him had a beef, you know. And let's move on. Now, we all know about the Rick Ross beef. You know, the Rick Ross beef cannot be denied. It was well documented on social media. They didn't like each other when, you know, they was going back and forth with the baby moms and all this. That beef, now, I really thought that beef personally was going into, you know, some violence, because you got Rick Ross, he's a bravado type of rapper. Then you got 50 Cent, and neither one of these dudes was backing down. You know, they was just, you know, going at it on personal attacks, going at one another violently like two pit bulls. I mean, it was good for the sport of hip hop, but once again, we didn't want to see neither one of these bulls, you know, be taken out. You know, we didn't want the 50 Cent, we didn't want the Tupac and the Biggie thing to happen again at no cost. That's one thing we would love to erase from hip hop, where these things turn violent. Like, now, I'm quite sure a lot of people can say that they love, you know, the whole idea of two rappers going back and forth. It's entertainment. This is the entertainment business. But when you take it off of wax and then to the streets and people start dying, that's a horse of a whole nother color. That ain't what we looking for. That ain't what we want. We want to be entertained. We want our artists to, you know, have a little conflict and competition, because it shows how much they care about the game. You know, we want that, but we don't want the violence. We don't want the violent part of it, you know, and that's the part we want to stay away from. And that's the part where hip hop lose. Look where we could have been if we'd have still had Biggie and Tupac. And just imagine where hip hop would have been if they were still, you know, surviving. They were still thriving. They were still alive. Where we had these artists still maintaining themselves in the hip hop field. But it's sad when you talk about that. But it's crazy, you know, how things can come full circle today, where these beefs are major today. These beefs can go left real quick, you know, and you know that I think the number one beef of all that 50 had is most recent, is when you infuse a woman into the mix, you know, Daphne Joy, 50 Cent baby mom, and the way 50 went at Diddy. I mean, this was the biggest trolling I ever seen on any level, where any artist trolled another artist with Diddy and 50 Cent, where he took this thing, he notched it up to another level, where Nas went at Jay-Z with Ether, and we thought that was, you know, the Scud missile, the bomb of all bombs. But when we saw the reckoning from 50 Cent on Diddy, that just surpassed Ether, I think. Now, musically wise, that's another story, but we talking about the trolling, the attack. Like, what surpasses this? Nothing. Nothing in the game right now can surpass what 50 Cent did with the reckoning to Diddy, where you talking about a man that's already down, he in jail, he really can't fend for himself. Is not much he can do because he's in jail. And the only thing right now that Diddy could have done, and what I believe that he's, you know, setting up, is with his sons, where they're bringing out their own, you know, documentary on their dad, where I believe it's going to fall flat, because you're his sons. You're supposed to say nice things about your dad, and you're supposed to puff up your dad and, you know, and make him out to be this mythical figure and all that. But the horse done left the barn. Nobody's gonna believe you, because we know the story with Diddy, and you know, for better for worse, he is who he is. You can't change the shade of the color, you know, of the lens when it's already made. We know what Diddy did. We saw what Diddy did. We watched the videos of Diddy stomping out Cassie. What are y'all gonna say to make us think otherwise? I don't see it. I mean, I think it's just a waste of money what these guys are doing, because he's doing his time. And the only person that can save and revitalize Diddy's career at this point is Diddy when he get out of jail. Like, he can, my advice to Diddy would be, you know, just lay low for a little bit of time and go back to behind the scenes and producing good music from artists. not from yourself. People don't want to hear from Diddy right now. They don't want to hear no raps from Diddy. They want to hear some music coming out of his camp that's good music. They will go for that. But as far as Diddy making another album and people cheering him on after this, I don't see it happening. But that's just me personally, you know. And we can't have, you know, 50 Cent beefs without talking about something, I mean, that just happened where it basically this was his ether, like Nas to Jay-Z. Fabulous. We heard that song and that thing was fire. It cannot be denied. And still to this day, 50 Cent hasn't said a damn thing since. This was one of those things, if you was at war and somebody hit you with a bomb and killed like 30,000 of your men. This was that bomb that Fabulous dropped on them. Now you got Mano and them, and they did their verses. None of them was comparable to what Fab did. And Fab is one of my favorite MCs. I mean, this dude hasn't aged a bit. I call him the ageless wonder because this dude will not grow old, and his style still carries weight. And that's what I love about this artist, Fab, is that this boy, like, leave that man alone. That's a sleeping giant. Do not fuck with Fab. Let Fab be. Let Fab enjoy his day in the sun. Whatever he do, let him have his moment. And I think 50 Cent recognized that, because that beef he didn't want. Now, he was going at Mano and them, they going back and forth. They had their words. But personally, what I think 50 Cent should do with this is bring back G-Unit. This is a perfect time to reassemble G-Unit and y'all come and attack. That'll be beautiful for hip-hop, where y'all come out with bangers, couple bangers on a nice album, G-Unit album, attacking these boys, you know, attack on the squatters or whatever, or, you know, whatever, you know, do something on that theme, but leave Fab alone. But I think this will be beautiful for hip-hop, you know, come out attacking Jim Jones and everything, and Mano and all that, and y'all go back and forth and make some money and sell some music, you know. But like I said, you know, I could go on and on about 50 Cent beefs, you know, because it's a number of them. Like, this dude, he's like one of the best trollers in the game right now. And personally, I think he keeps himself relevant with these beefs, because people always talking about him. When are we not talking about? When are we not talking about him? When are we not talking about him? It's like it's an ongoing thing. Like, his name stay relevant, and I believe that this man is the smartest man in the game for keeping his name relevant. Like, take note from this dude. Like, not with all the trolling, but to a certain degree, you could do something far as that level of, you know, talk, just having something to say and something to do, where he's not just sitting around twiddling his thumbs. I mean, even though 50 Cent, you know, got power and all that, but it's something about this social media that's just comical and entertaining, and that's 50 Cent niche. Like, you cannot troll better than 50 Cent, you know, and he is showing with Papoose and Clarissa Shields. Now, they got a good run at it. They coming back with some strong, you know, memes and funny videos and stuff, but 50 Cent, he hitting them hard. But let's just sit back and be entertained, and let's hope that this thing don't go violent, and I hope 50 Cent don't run into Clarissa Shields on a 1-on-1, because my money on Clarissa Shields, and that's just what I think. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Like I said, it's your boy Philly Dark One. For more Hip Hop News TV, hit me in the comments about these 50 Cent beefs, and what would y'all like to see? How would y'all like the outcome to be on these beefs? And just let me know, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. All right, and I'm out. Peace.